you love tea? I do. So I went to Sri Lanka for a cuppa. I had cuppas in the low, mid, and high countries, and in fact I even attended the Dilma School of Tea. But Sri Lanka isn't just tea. It's also UNESCO World Heritage Sites, beautiful beaches, abundant wildlife, amazing food, rubies, sapphires, toddy tappers, temples, and tuk-tuks. And I love tuk-tuks. So I rented one to explore this beautiful multicultural pearl in the Indian Ocean. Hi, my name is Scott Wilson, a nomadic bull, and this time I'm visiting Sri Lanka.
It's quite novel.
Let's have a closer look, shall we?
This thing's an absolute hoot. I love it.
After spending a couple of great days in beautiful historic Galle, we were off on our next stop to see a true family business in action in the southern lowlands. Tea through the generations. 3 generations to be exact.
So, like, Galaboda was first created or started when?
Actually, it was first started in 1929 by my grandfather. And in 1935, we got the actual license to produce the black tea. So it has been established, the factory has been established since 1935.
1935.
And I'm the 3rd generation to run the business.
Of the family?
Family, yes.
Yeah.
3rd generation of the family to run the business, yes. Then my father took over the factory around when he was about 19, and he still has been running it for the past 3 years. I've been here for the past 3 years. Until then, he has been running the factory by himself.
Wow. So we're talking decades.
Basically about 59 years of experience in tea making.
59 years. Wow.
Absolutely.
Right here.
Right here.
Okay, and we're just so that the viewer knows, we're sitting on the back deck of the house built by your father?
That's right. This house was built in 1969.
69.
1969, yeah.
So, and the factory that we had a look at yesterday is the original factory built in 1935?
That's right. That's the original factory which was built in 1935.
Well, I guess it takes a while to establish an estate though, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, there's a story behind that as well, Scott. Actually, this factory never meant to be here. In 1935, what happened was when my grandfather was here, he had loads of land here. He used to pluck teas and sun-dry the teas. That's
okay.
how we used to hand roll the teas, then sun-dry the teas, then sell it that way. What happened in 1935 was one Brown company, it's called Brown Company at the time, was bringing a factory to be assembled somewhere else.
All right.
And they couldn't actually go there because the roads were that bad at that time, and they were not able to take all the equipment there.
Yeah.
And they got to find out that my grandfather had this land and he was into tea.
Yeah.
So, and they approached my grandfather at the time, and he said, yes, you can assemble the factory here. And he paid for it. That's how this factory was started.
So, that was a sign.
That was a sign, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so, because that's a pretty good sized factory.
It is, yes. I mean, the most top floor wasn't there.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't there at the time.
Yeah.
That was built by my dad.
So he put the upper withering...
Yeah, the ground floor and the first floor was there.
Okay.
And the second floor was done by my father.
After my interview with the doctor, I was off to have a closer look at the tea estate. The first thing I noticed was the variety of vegetation that comes as a result of a tropical climate and decades of peaceful existence.
The pepper seed indicates for plucking when the seed becomes red, yellow, something like that. Then it's an indication that it is ready for plucking.
Okay.
Then they pluck it, put it on a mat, keep it for about 2-3 days under direct sunlight,
Yeah.
and it becomes black.
Okay.
And after it becomes black, you peel the top skin out,
Yeah.
and it is white inside. This is the rubber seed.
Oh yeah.
Seeds.
Okay. From the rubber, eh?
Yeah.
Then I met the estate manager to get a better understanding of how a day in the life at Galaboda unfolded.
Here we go, coming in for the close-up.
Yeah.
I love it. Very nice. So here we are today. We're in the fields of the Galaboda Tea Estates,
Yeah.
and I'm with the field officer,
Yeah.
Mr. Patirin.
No, no. It is all right.
It's all right.
All right. Your pronunciation good.
Oh, I'm kind of getting there.
Yes.
All right. So you have worked in tea how many years?
I have been working. I started tea cultivation in the 1976.
1976.
Six. From there onwards, I am still working.
So 76,
30,
40 years.
30, 40 years.
Long
40
time.
years, yeah.
Okay, so before
Yeah.
you used to work for big companies.
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then
Big
you
plantation.
and then you retired,
Retired.
and now you come here because this is more relaxed.
It's more relaxed and because of this private property and they also look after well.
Look
So I
after
came,
well.
Yeah, so I came.
So it's your job here. You organize the workers in the morning. You send the workers out,
Oh,
and then you go
and
make sure.
supervising. After
Okay.
detailing them for the work, I
Okay.
used to supervise them.
All
And
right.
I had to get the target. I had to get
Oh, every day there's a
every
quota.
day there are some targets.
Okay.
Even Sun River,
Yeah.
even plucking, we have given the target. So I have to look after that, whether they are getting the targets or not. Then if targets is getting, it is better to the estate. No?
It's a
It is
good
better-
day.
Yeah, better to the property.
So what happens if you don't get the targets?
Don't get the target, then we have to warn them.
Yeah.
Warn the people.
Okay.
Warning, and you have to get the targets anyhow.
All right.
The 15 kilos of tea per day for a name. So we
Okay.
have to pluck. That is
Pluck.
the average.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what is for you?
Yeah.
What is the difference working on this estate
Yeah.
and the big estate?
Big estate is that is different. The management is different.
Okay.
This is we are directly the proprietors handling the estate.
Okay.
And they are then we have to get the advice from him.
So the
Directly
proprietor is right
yeah,
here.
Contractor, yes. Contract proprietor directly.
So if you have a problem, you can talk to the proprietor
And
directly.
solve.
Okay.
On the spot we can solve. But the other plantations are not like that.
So it is 8:45 in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay, the workers arrived by lorry this morning at around 7:45. They went in, they changed into their work clothes, they came out. You called the muster.
Master.
Okay, so the muster, that's when you
Yeah,
check everyone's
yeah,
here,
yes.
and then you send them off to the different fields. Okay, and then they leave to go into the fields around 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they work, and then they have 1 hour for lunch.
1 hour, half hour for tea.
Tea?
At about 10
Oh,
o'clock.
we gotta have tea. We're
Yeah.
on a tea estate.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Tea also we give the break.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So and then they work until about 5 o'clock.
Oh, before 4:30 after we have to get them to for weighing.
Oh,
To the
so
factory,
they
yeah.
bring
They bring in the leaf.
and then they weigh
Then we
them.
have to weigh.
Okay.
And enter in their names. What are the individual kilos,
Okay.
kilograms, what they bought. We
Okay.
have to enter it in the book.
So
and
it-
check roll.
Okay. And if they bring in more than their
if they-
target, do they
yes,
get a little bonus?
Then they will get the bonus. They will get that over kilos pay
Good.
special rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Special rate.
Rate 20 rupees a kilo.
So am I going to get a bonus today? No bonus for me?
If you pluck, you
If
also
I
will get-
pluck?
Yeah.
All right, we'll go pluck. We'll do some plucking.
This we call footpath.
The footpath. Okay, we're hiking up through field number 6. Number 6, and as you can see by the sweat
Yeah.
pouring off my head,
Yeah.
it is very hot. Very hot, and you know, I've been in heat before, but I find with Sri Lanka, what we have on top of the heat is an extremely high humidity. And I must admit, I'm not really used to it. We're going to the right here?
Yeah, right.
Okay, we're climbing up to the top of the Galla Boda tea estate, the highest peak, so we can have a look at the village and have a little break. So, how old are you? You are
I am 60
60.
plus.
60 plus. And this guy is climbing the hill like a billy goat.
Yeah.
I'm 53,
Oh my God.
and he's walking circles around me.
Yeah.
Does this every day.
Every day.
Nothing was laid on for me because I was a visitor with a camera. Instead, I was a simple observer, there to better understand the workings of an estate. And I guess those workings could be divided into two halves. The first half being the harvesting of the tea leaves, 2 leaves in a bud, which obviously took place out in the countryside. And the second half, the processing of those picked leaves, which took place in the factory, where I'd spent considerable time inside 2 tea factories with Dilma. This time I was able to spend more time outside as I followed the workers in the fields. It was quite revealing, and I couldn't help notice the heat, as it was incredibly hot, and I wondered at the workers' stamina day in and day out in such incredible temperatures. There were a couple of workarounds to diminish the heat in plain sight. Clothing was worn loose by workers, and trees had been planted to provide shade during the day. Even so, heat is heat, and I marveled at their ability to shrug it off as a simple fact of daily life in Sri Lanka. Then, at the end of the day, it was back to the factory with their full bushels of leaves to be weighed. This was where bonuses were calculated and the overall daily harvest could be determined. After each worker had their bushel weighed, it was off upstairs to the withering floors, where the leaves were spread in the withering troughs for the first of the tea processing steps to begin. This is where the actual leaves began to be manipulated for the first time with the removal of moisture. From there, they were off down the chutes to the giant rollers that continued the process. So in a sense, there were 2 teams, those that harvested and those that processed. And at the end of each day, the workers collected some tea for themselves before boarding the trucks to head home. Another day finished, another cycle of tea brought to the factory. And tomorrow, they would arrive in those same trucks and do it all over again. The same process and cycle that had been going on for more than 100 years in Sri Lanka, and at this particular location since 1935. It had been quite the day, and to signal its closure, the rains began to fall once again.
Galaboda was always known as a black tea factory.
That's right. Yes.
Okay, but recently you branched off, correct?
Correct. What we did was in 2008, this was my sister's and my dad's idea to make the tea fields all organic. So since 2008, we haven't brought any kind of pesticides, chemicals, any fertilizer to the factory or anywhere else. And it has been organic since 2008. And in 2011, IMO in Switzerland came and inspected the place, and they certified our tea gardens as being totally organic. This organic tea leaves only goes to our organic green tea factory. We got 2 factories on the same premises, one black factory and one green tea factory. The green tea technology came from China. Myself and a manager of mine went to China to learn the trade. That was about 2 years ago. And since then, we have been manufacturing green tea as well. We go as the name Tsara teas, T-S-A-R-A. A lot of people call it tea Tsara, but usually it's called Tsara teas.
Okay.
How I came up with the name is it's a combination of my two children's names, really.
Okay.
And Tsara means that Russian princess.
All right. Well, there you go. Okay. I didn't. All right.
Yeah, so our teas now go as Tsara teas, all black tea, green tea, as well as flavored teas, goes under the brand of Tsara teas. But it is manufactured in Galaboda Group estate.
Yeah, okay.
So we are proud to say, in fact I'm proud to say, we are one of the only setup that has two factories on the same site making black and green tea.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we are single origin as well. We don't buy teas from any brokers or any auctions or anything like that. We manufacture our own tea and we sell our own tea to anywhere in the world.
And so the green tea, I hear the champagne green tea is one of the best.
Yes, champagne green tea, I can proudly say that it is only made by Tsara teas. It basically comes from the bud of the tea plant. What we do is we pick the bud, hand roll the bud, and sun dry the bud. And it is a very special tea, very smooth, very tender, very aromatic.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a very expensive tea as well because we can't make too much of it. The quantities are so low.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday we had a look at the black tea and green tea, and today we're going to head down to the tea tasting room. And this room's open to the public. Folks come in on tours and they do their tea tasting and they can buy tea on site. So we're going to go down and check some tea out. Here we go. This is an absolutely beautiful estate. You know, I mean, it's one of those estates that comes from many years of being in the family and, you know, that love and care along the way that can't be reproduced overnight. It comes with years and years and years of tender, loving care. So here we go down to the tea room, and as you can see behind me there's the actual tea factory. That's the black tea factory. Over to the left of that is the green tea factory, and I'm heading down the main drive towards the gate and the tea house. So let's go try some tea.
There's the boss, Mr. the green tea guru. How are you? Yeah.
Good name for him.
The whole tea boutique thing is kind of newish. I mean, there have always been tea tastings, but with more and more tourists coming to Sri Lanka, and with many of them being tea lovers, it made sense to offer them a more personable experience. Galaboda's Tea Boutique was a perfect example and was staffed by 4 experts, so I split my time with each.
Which one? This is the champagne.
Champagne tea.
So and this one is supposed to be very good.
Yeah, this is the number one.
This is the number
Best
one,
quality.
best quality. So okay. So what is the process of tea tasting?
It's like this. Take a cup and spoon.
Yeah.
Hold like this. And taste with cup.
Okay. So you tell me that's good?
Yeah.
That's good, yeah?
It's
Okay,
good.
that's very good. All right, so I'm going to try some of the champagne tea now. I'm looking down at the teas, and I see different color. Yeah, okay. All right, so, and very smooth.
Very smooth.
Very smooth. It's, ooh.
Color like champagne.
So is that why it's called champagne? Because of the color?
Yeah. That's why
Yeah.
we call it champagne.
What do we got here? Now, it's hard to believe because all these teas come from the same plant,
Same plant.
but they taste so very different, very different. So 5 organic
Organic green tea.
green teas, Galla Boda specialty.
Special.
Okay, and then this is the number 1. I'm going to go on. Now, you're not supposed to do this, but I'm going to do it anyways. You're supposed to start with the kind of the delicate, and then you work your way to the black teas, which have a stronger flavor, correct? You don't want to start black and work your way to green because it overpowers.
It really is an interesting experience because of the amount of varieties on offer and because it is so educational. We all have ideas of how things are done, or maybe we don't. But in the boutique, we're given an opportunity to see the way it is done at the source in Sri Lanka.
It's just quite neat because you come through and you go through the whole classifications. It's very good. I must admit, I'm not used to drinking tea this way. It's quite novel, but I like it. That's nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Cocktail from all this.
No, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that takes care of Galaboda's organic teas.
Yeah.
5 green, 5 black. Okay, so that's on the front face. We go around the back face, and we get into the
Conventional black teas.
conventional. Now, when you say conventional, why is it conventional?
It's mix of, it's not organic.
So there are some fertilizers, stuff like that involved?
No, we never use fertilizer in here.
No.
But farmers grow tea in outside.
Outside, they bring the leaves here, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not 100% organic,
No.
basically.
But our tea in here, these 10 are 100% organic.
This right here, these 10 here, 100% organic?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
We worked our way from organic to traditional before finishing off with flavored teas. Cinnamon, masala, ginger, vanilla, jasmine, mint, lemon, soursop, rose, and Earl Grey. I had no idea, but I was learning.
This is Tony. And I can remember Tony's name because my oldest brother's name is Tony. Tony's a retired English teacher.
Yeah.
And he works here at Galaboda in the tea boutique as well.
Yeah.
What are we doing here, Tony?
We are going to do a tea tasting of flavored tea.
Flavored tea.
Flavored tea.
Now this is all flavored
All
black
flavored.
tea?
All mixed with black tea.
Okay.
Now we come to masala.
Masala.
Masala. This is a, they mix it with ginger
Yeah.
and it's like an Indian drink,
Okay.
right? We produce in Sri Lanka. It's a spicy
Yeah.
cup of tea.
All right. Spicy cup of tea. Spicy.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a.
It's ginger, cardamom,
Okay.
that in cinnamon, all in this.
All right. Oh wow. Yeah, that's got a kick to it.
Kick too.
Yeah. Yeah, that's nice. Very nice.
So, with a day in the life at Galla Boda over, we moved from the tea back to the beaches.
Okay. We're in the little town of Mirissa on the south coast. And just so you know, Sri Lanka isn't all about tea. They obviously have beautiful beaches. And, the nice thing here is that even though they have a monsoon, they have 2 monsoons. And, there may be a monsoon going on the east coast, but the west coast and the south coast is still beautiful, and vice versa. So it doesn't matter what time of the year you come to Sri Lanka, you can find a beach. And we found this one, I'll tell you what, it's pretty sweet. You got a big rock out in the bay which kind of splits the water up, so you have kind of a swimming beach to the left and you have a surf beach to the right. But absolutely gorgeous. It's only 9:30 in the morning, but it's already very hot. Anyways, going for a swim. Surfers are out there. Swimmers are over there. We're going here. But beautiful. All right.
Mirissa is a great little beachside resort. It offers the spectacular beach, waves for surfers, and if you feel like venturing out on the open water, there are even whale watching trips. We caught a tuk-tuk down to the local harbor and boarded a vessel and headed out into the big blue. It was an amazing morning, and even though we didn't spot any, it was still an amazing excursion. Whales don't necessarily appear on cue. Maybe that's a good thing. After all, gives me yet another reason to return.
Home, and we've experienced some fantastic Sri Lankan dishes, some fantastic hospitality, and the first day he said, Scott, you film whatever you want, you go where you want, there's nothing to hide, this is the way we make it, we want to show people the way we make it, and basically, which tells me you're very proud of the product you create here.
I'm very, very proud to say that we have the heritage over 75 years, and the whole business has been in one family.
Yeah.
And I'm proud to say that, you know, my dad trusts me 100% to run it now, even though my background is in medicine.
No pressure there, right?
No pressure there.
Why is it that whenever we feel the need to go somewhere exotic, we get on a plane and leave? What's wrong with our own backyard? What's wrong with Vancouver Island? Well, as it turns out, nothing at all.
He wasn't sure for sure that it was in fact an island.
Vancouver Island is as exotic as it gets, but it's a different kind of exotic. It's not palm trees and margaritas. It's giant cedars and single malt. It's a pristine and wild exotic.
Fish whisperer and sardine, they're on camera.
Hi, my name is Scott Wilson, aka the Nomadic Bull. Join me and my good buddy, Dominic Medlinski, the Zen guy, as we explore our island.
54 and 50.
We'll head up north and meet Joey and learn about Cole Harbor. We'll take in a potlatch in Alert Bay and we'll ride the rails in Port Alberni. And maybe we'll just have a tipple or two. We'll meet great locals, hear fascinating stories, ride through stunning scenery, and wallow in a beautiful wilderness setting. Vancouver Island is a gem, our gem, and it's time to share it. This is Changing Landscapes Vancouver Island.
So here's the Nomadic Bull and the Zen guy.
And the acting base commander for CFB Esquimalt today.
The museum is open to the public Monday through Friday, 10 till 3:30.
And admission is by donation, well worth it. Go and check it out.